Alright, welcome back to the channel. Max Tornow here, and in this video I want to talk to you about time because probably you ain't got enough, but you would like to have more. And if you think you don't have the time to build the life of your dreams or whatever it is, I have a big important announcement for you. You do. Or you could. You probably don't have it right now because you're doing the things the wrong way. I have literally built great things in my life with the same amount of time as you, 24 hours in a day, 365 days a year, but I've somehow managed to leverage my time differently, and I'm going to explain to you how exactly you can do that too in your video, in this video here for you. That's why it's your video. So if you like the idea of making money, if you like the idea of having more time, then this video is indeed for you.
Have you ever wondered whether there's more to life than a meaningless, dead-end 9-to-5 job? Have you ever dreamed about breaking free, traveling the world, making good money while not having to worry that you could get fired? My name is Max Tornow, and I've attained that freedom, and I've attained that security. No more office dress code, no morning commute, no boss. This channel is for you, so here's to your freedom.
Look, what you have to understand is the following. You're gonna spend the exact equal amount of time in your current job or in your studies or whatever it is that you're doing as you could be in a business that you're building. So far, so good. Makes sense? Yes. You spend the exact same amount of time right now in your job as a business. So far, so good. But the business is going to do one thing that a job can never ever do, and that is leveraging your time by a systemization. What you do in a business, you can ask any of my beginner clients, is you invest a lot of time in the beginning to get the business rolling and to start making your first money. And once you make your first money, what do? You start systemizing it, you start delegating it, you start automating it. Therefore, if you keep building your business, first you make your 10K a month as a solopreneur, just you working from your laptop. Now you run ads, now you start building social media, now you start hiring people. Eventually you remove yourself more and more from the actual processes, right? You can literally dance your way back. You dance backwards like the guys in the rap videos. And then eventually you're so far removed from it that you're making more money than ever before, but you're not doing anything or you're doing much less. You cannot do that with a job. If you have a job, you cannot remove yourself from the job and start delegating things. You can't do that. Ultimately, the entire premise of a job is you're spending 8-9 hours a day here and you're getting paid for your 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, whichever it is, and that's good, that's fine, that's it. That's it. What you could do is maybe find higher paying jobs that give you more bucks for your bang, so to say, but ultimately you can never fully systemize it in a way so you're working on your job and not in your job. That's the whole definition of a job. You can, however, do that with your business. And that is the most important point that you have to realize here. Right? A business costs you the exact same amount of time and energy as you're wasting away in a job, but if you build a business and if you do it properly, these hours and energy is more like an investment, and slowly but steadily you're getting more and more return on that investment. Understand that. All right? So once you make that realization, you will realize like, okay, if I spend 5 years in the job, I get paid for these 5 years, and that's great. If you spend 5 years in a business, first you might not even get paid, but once you do, you start getting paid for the amount of work that you're putting in, but slowly but steadily, you're getting paid to do nothing but making decisions and delegating. Within 5 years, you can easily create a 7-figure a year business, if not even a multiple 7 figures a year, if not even an 8 figures a year business. Realize that. What can you do after 5 years working in the same company? You can grow for sure. If it's a great company that you're believing in, that you really like, that gives you a lot back, that's great too. But ultimately, if you want to build a business, within 5 years, you can get very, very far, extremely far. And that's what you have to realize. Stop seeing time as a how much can I get paid for my time. Start seeing it as a how much can I start leveraging that time, right? How much can I invest in that time? And that then, so I kind of started with a more specific business example. That then kind of can be adapted to life in general. And all of a sudden you start seeing time as a liability or an asset. If you really think about that. Before I'm going to go deeper into that, if you haven't done so yet, go give me a follow on my Instagram account, the Max Tornow Instagram account. I'm posting on there every single day. And I'm also showing, behind the scenes how much work I'm putting in, how life is when you're running a multiple 7-figure business, when you're growing, and so on and so forth. I'm talking about advanced content as well. Posting every day on the feed, posting every day in the stories. Check it out. I'm also replying to all DMs. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. I'll be super happy to help you out. Also check out the other Instagram account, the Freedom Business Mentoring Instagram account. It's a bit more business-sided. On there, we're showing our most successful beginner clients. They're making $10,000, $20,000 a month. We're talking about how exactly they got there. We're posting value nuggets on there every single day as well. Strongly recommend you follow both of these accounts. Now, probably have your phone in your hand right now anyway, so might as well. Let's talk about that whole idea of liabilities versus assets. If you don't know that terminology, a liability is basically, just to stay really simple in the explanation, a liability is something that diminishes in value over time, right? You buy a car. The moment the car drives down the road, it has lost around 50% of its value on average, right? That's a liability. You buy a TV or a computer, it's a liability, right? An asset is something that appreciates in value. It grows up in value. If you buy, for example, gold is always steadily increasing due to the inflation. If you invest in yourself, right, you invest in knowledge, that obviously helps you make even more money, so it increases in value. So now you understand a basic concept. Now, time is essentially the exact same thing. When you're wrapping up work on a Friday evening and your buddies ask you, hey, we're going to go have some drinks now, we're going to party at John's place, play some video games and get drunk, you want to go join us? Now you think about it, maybe that whole evening is going to take 2, 3, 4 hours. And if you now say, well, these 2, 3, 4 hours, are they going to be a liability or an asset? Now you can make a decision. Drinking with your buddies, with your equally broke friends or even broker friends, well, it's not going to be an asset, all right? This time is not going to reveal any returns on you, so yeah, it's a liability. If you then say, well, finish now with my 9-to-5 job, I'll be home at 6:30, and I'll go to bed around 11, that means I can work from 7 to 8 to 9, so 8, 9, 10, yeah, I can work 3 hours. If I use that to work on my business, now you've just created an asset with your time. Because the amount of time that you invest now, these 3 hours on a Friday evening after work, the amount of time that you invest now in your business actually gives you greater return of investment later on. Because once that business is rolling, once you start making clients, and once you can build that in a little bit bigger operation, you got yourself a nice source of income, number one. You got yourself a safe source of income, number two, because you're in control of it, because you don't have to worry about the economy, and you don't have to worry about getting fired. Number three, if you keep building that, you can start delegating. You can start automating with paid advertising. You can start leveraging with social media. Most importantly, you can start delegating that to a team that you train. And all of a sudden, you see yourself going on a vacation, and you're running your company from a boat. Like you're just on the phone with your clients, or maybe with your team, and they're like, oh, what do we do here? And you're just like, do this. All right, as you're steering the boat around the island. You can do this because you've learned to treat time as either a liability or as an asset. Now, of course, you cannot always treat time like an asset. You know, sometimes you need some time off, sometimes you want to hang out with friends. That's fine, that's okay. But ultimately, the majority of your time should be invested as an asset. And if I think back at my time as in my early 20s, I started realizing that. I might have not been able to put it into words like I'm putting it into words right now in a witty and kind of thoughtful manner, but I kind of made that realization consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously. Of course, did I hang out with my friends? Every now and then, yes. But I cut back on it tremendously. And funny enough, all my good friends that rather spend their time getting high and watching someone play video games on YouTube, well, none of them now has a 7-figure business or multiple 7-figure business. In fact, some of them reach out to me and they're like, oh, you've done it right. Oh my God, like I should have realized. Yeah, and once you're older, you kind of realize you should have treated your time as an asset and not as a liability. Does that mean I look down on these people? No, I do not. They probably, maybe they have some skills in something else where I'm really stupid in, I don't know, but at least in terms of generating income, I've done it better than them, and that's fine. That doesn't make me a better person or anything like that, but just in that field of the income, I realized what I got to do and I did it. And for me, that's a priority. For me, I always realized my life, the quality of my life is directly going to be linked to the amount of money I'm making. Does that mean money buys happiness? No, it doesn't. But it means money buys me the freedom, money buys me the carefreeness, money buys me the waking up on a Monday, not having to drag my lazy body to work. Money also means being able to take care of my parents. They're not getting older. They're not getting younger. They are, in fact, getting older. And while money per se might not be able to heal diseases, it can certainly pay for treatment, the best treatment. All right? We've seen that in 2020 more than ever before. How many of my friends who were happy in their safe 9-to-5 jobs have lost their jobs? They're now somewhere in the EU, not being able to even leave their house because of the restrictions, and it takes a toll on their nerves, right? On their minds, on their lives. And I, on the other hand, I was in the extremely lucky position to have pushed really hard throughout my 20s. So once the quarantine hit, I was like, okay, first off, I can work from home. Second off, I'm making even more money than before, since more people want to spend money online instead of offline. Third of all, if I want to go travel somewhere because I don't like the restrictions, I can do that. I'm literally in a country where there's no restrictions, where life is very normal, where life is really beautiful. And if there's going to be restrictions there, I can move on to the next one. Now, of course, I'm always doing tests. I'm always making sure I'm sticking to the restrictions of where I am right now. But if I don't like it, I have the freedom to travel around. So tell me more about how money doesn't buy you happiness. Maybe it doesn't per se, but it sure as hell makes life a hell of a lot easier. And if you realize that you can only get there by prioritizing your time and by treating your time as either an investment or as either an asset or a liability, and you always choose treating it as an asset, then you can also get there. But you have to realize that, right? That's a very, very, very basic topic that's extremely broad now, but it's nonetheless an extremely important lesson if you want to build your own first business as an online coach, consultant, or service provider. So when you're taking this seriously, and you want me to help you build your own first business as an online coach, consultant, or service provider, then go ahead and book a free consultation call with us now. There's a link down in the description. You click on that link, it brings you to a page. There's some more info on that page. On the bottom of that page, you fill out the application. It takes you maybe 2 minutes to fill that out, and then you can book the exact date and time where you want us to call you. Two things right away. Number one, yes, you will be talking to a real person on the phone, not an automated bot or something like that. Number two, we will only be talking about implementable steps, only real talk. We're not going to give you some watered down mainstream BS advice. We're only going to talk about implementable steps. We've done this hundreds of times before. We've worked with thousands of clients before. We've all helped them build their own freedom business as an online coach, consultant, or service provider, right? So it works. I invite you to be a part of that. All you have to do is you book that free consultation call down below. Other than that, I want to thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate that, and talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.
So just a quick video on me cracking 10K a month since I've started FBM. So, I come from a science background. I had no idea about business. FBM is structured in such a way where it's so easy to just kind of like follow it, and it's so simple, just step by step. They can give you bite-sized knowledge, how to get clients, how to generate leads, how to close. The simplicity of the program combined with the constant support from, Max, from the coaches, from the FBM group, from the live calls, all that combined. Yeah, thank you very much.